Hey everyone, it is E-Money, your BFFF, best financial friend forever. So a topic that almost nobody wants to ever talk about is the topic of asset protection. That is protecting your assets when something bad happens. And of course, we never think anything bad is going to happen until it does. So we tackle the very simple things that any business owner can do to protect their assets. You do not want to go or get a lawsuit against you, which will probably happen at some point in your career, and then regret, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done something to protect my assets. You want to do that while the financial seas are calm. So myself and Eric Gersch tackle this. We give you some tools, and I think it's a great episode. You're definitely going to enjoy. As always, please, guys, I need some help. I really do. We want to continue to do this. We love doing this. But I need you to give me a like, share, subscribe, tell other people about the Financial Beast podcast. If you're a practice owner and you need financial help, I want to encourage you to not wait. Go to our website, schedule an introductory call. We'll figure out what's going on with you and see if we can enhance your condition or get you out of a bad one. Either way, we just want you to win financially. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Be well.
Welcome back.
Welcome back from what? I'm going to be gone for like 5 days. How are you going to get along?
Oh, darn.
Better yet, what are you going to do for me while I'm gone?
Well, not much.
Yeah, kind of what I figured.
I thought you were going to be gone this week. When do you leave?
I leave Thursday.
So tomorrow?
I'm gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Come back Wednesday.
Are you here tomorrow or no?
Yeah, I'll be here because we have to do the associate webinar.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys can sell some financial plans to people. But I digress.
I like that.
What did we say we were gonna talk about today was asset protection.
Yes.
That's kind of a big umbrella.
It is.
I mean, we can go over a lot of different things when it comes to asset protection, but I think let's keep it to
basics.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll keep it to basics, but we won't go overboard in terms of like everything that you need. I think first and foremost, maybe define what asset protection means to you, and then like what the term actually signifies and what we're talking about.
Well, I would say asset protection is protecting your assets.
Geez, Gersh.
No, I'm just kidding.
I can't believe they pay you. I can't believe how much you get paid in the big bucks.
No, I would say that asset protection is arranging your financial affairs in a way that is most favorable to you if you were to be like sued or, anything like that.
Okay. I mean, it's not terrible.
What's your ears?
Well, I mean, it is the tools and techniques one uses to protect assets from lawsuits, from health issues, from premature death, and from any kind of attack that may occur.
True. I didn't think of health issues, but that's a good point.
So when we're talking about like asset protection, we're talking about like, people have assets. They've acquired assets. Your body is an asset because it allows you to work. And these are some things that you have to make sure are protected because they all provide a value. That value needs to be protected in some way, shape, or form from all of the methods out there that could take away your wealth. Now, we've just been kind of lucky because a lot of our clients haven't really had to deal with a lot of these issues.
No, we really haven't had any. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anybody who's like had a serious lawsuit that really threatened their wealth. I mean, yeah, we've had small ones here and there.
Yeah.
but nothing that's like the difference between losing it all.
Which makes me wonder, is it because we've been so proactive in making sure they protect their assets that we've just taken away the bad juju vibe of bad stuff happening? Or is it just maybe we're being
Well, I think
overprotective?
part of it, of course, is planning, but I think the other part too is you got to remember with asset protection, like, okay, let's use a lawsuit as an example because that's the most likely scenario for our client base. First, somebody has to have a reason to sue you. Then they have to follow through.
Yep.
Then they have to take it to court and win. Then they have to win more than whatever the applicable insurance coverage is. So like if it's a car accident, right? What will car accident coverage cover?
It's a process.
Then the judgment has to be more than any umbrella coverage as well in a lot of cases. And then, and only then, if you can meet all 6 of those, are reachable assets at risk. So I think it's by default a relatively rare scenario for lawsuit purposes, but that's only lawsuits. That's not like health stuff.
Yeah. So I think we'll start with what assets should be protected.
Everything.
Okay. So you have assets, which includes your body. Okay. As an asset. In most cases, it's an asset. Everything needs to be protected. So your cars, your homes, your business, your bank accounts, your investments, everything needs to be protected. Okay. So that's the simplicity of that. Now we look at, okay, great. I know my assets need to be protected. What are my tools on how to protect assets? Because, when you hear about asset protection, I just start thinking like, and I haven't seen it as much lately, but I'm sure just because maybe I'm not getting it in my news feed or I'm not on some of those, maybe our spam detector is really good, but it's just people out there like promoting, hey, you need to set up all these extravagant like offshore trusts and do what the billionaires do to protect their assets, And
yeah.
I don't know that that's 100% necessary for most people.
Yeah. I mean, most of our clients are well, all of our clients don't have the wealth of Jeff Bezos.
No.
And, that's like, it's going many steps above what you need.
It's a gradient approach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
you don't need what the Rockefellers have,
No. Oh, I mean, would it be great to have your stuff insulated like that? Yeah, okay, but you know how much they spend a year on attorney's fees and
God, like more than our clients make.
Those are probably billionaires spend millions on asset protection. Okay, most of you are millionaires, but you don't necessarily need to even spend thousands on asset protection. But there are some things that you need to do in order to protect your assets. So we'll go through what I would consider 3 or 4 tools that you can use to protect your assets. And the first one would just be the law. What are the state laws say?
Yep.
Okay. So in most states, there are provisions to protect certain assets.
Yep.
So you have, rules that protect your home, rules that protect, certain investment accounts. There are state laws that protect some of these things.
Yeah, like 401ks are protected by federal law.
Yeah. So if you have money in your 401k, by and large, that's protected from any kind of a lawsuit. Not necessarily, not from the IRS. Make no mistake, the IRS can get anything they want to.
Yes, asset protection does not apply to back taxes.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to a lawsuit or a judgment against you, money in your qualified plans have the ERISA has certain protections. for these types of qualified plans. So that's good. So there's state laws. Again, in some states, your homes have a different level of protection. In some states, they 500,000 or unlimited amounts of your equity of your home are protected. In some states, it's $50,000.
Yep.
It just all depends. You're going to have to check check your state on what the law would be to protect certain assets. If you have like life insurance policies or annuities or something like that, those generally will have some kind of protections around them.
Yeah, most states protect those.
Yeah, which is another reason why we like them, because they are protected by state laws. So state laws are probably one of the higher or one of the better tools that you can use, just knowing what the laws protect.
Yep.
At certain points. Okay. So know your state laws. If you don't know them, then you can contact someone. Look them up. That's what your phone's for.
Yeah, I was just going to say, all you got to do is Google it.
It's not TikTok videos all day long. I mean, you guys actually can, do constructive things with these phones now. Okay. So just check online, and you'll find like all the different assets and investments that your state protects. Another one of those would be like certain methods of titling an account. Like I know in I don't know how many states it is, maybe 15 or 16 states. Married couples can own an asset called tenants by the entirety.
Yep.
Which basically is a fancy way of saying that you guys own the asset jointly, but it's actually looked at as one asset. So if you got sued and your spouse didn't, then they couldn't get a hold of the asset.
Yep.
So
if you both get sued, though.
Yeah, if you both get sued, all bets are off. There's nothing perfect.
It's better than the alternatives, but it's not bulletproof at all.
Yeah. Now, I think another thing about asset protection is there is no bulletproof asset protection strategy. None. So there are different levels of how strong a strategy is, but I don't know that there's anything that's 100% foolproof. Okay. And you know what? If you do something wrong, you ought to take responsibility for it as well. I just don't think it should cost you like everything that you've built up for.
Yeah, of course.
Because you don't know like exactly, what the reason was and who's going after you and for what purpose.
Yep.
So, all these things I think are, take it with a grain of salt, but that's I think another important point. There's no bulletproof asset protection when it comes to this. And, okay. So what's the other tool that we have?
I'd say the second line of defense is just insurance.
Yep. So this is what insurance is for.
Car insurance protects you in car accidents.
Yep.
Homeowners insurance protects you if your house burns down or if someone slips and falls on your driveway.
Mm-hmm.
There's endless types of insurance out there. I don't think we want to get into every one of them, but
no, but I mean, you can rattle them off pretty easily. You should have auto and homeowners insurance, and you guys should have high liability limits. I mean, you're not 21 years old anymore, and make $20 an hour.
Yep.
You guys have money. It's make sure your limits are high. You're going to need them anyway if you want to qualify for an umbrella policy, which is another type of insurance that kind of will act as just like that, as an umbrella.
Yeah, it's a liability policy.
Yeah,
it's additional liability. Yep.
So and you're going to want to have that. And you're going to probably want to have an umbrella policy for maybe your net worth, equal to your net worth. I think up to $5 million is what you can get.
Yep.
And it varies in cost from state to state. In Florida, it's pretty expensive.
I would say on average, it's like $300 per million.
Yeah, that's definitely not in Florida.
No, Florida's probably more than double that.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's like $750 for $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's, but anyway, so that type of insurance, obviously, on the business side, professional liability insurance. If you have your building, there's commercial insurance you're going to need. I mean, all these things are going to be required. And, look, just make sure you have them and make sure someone is keeping these things up to date. You're keeping in, the policies paid and premiums up to date and all those things. And
review. I mean, it's not something you got to do every 6 months, but you should probably once every year or two actually review, like, what coverage amounts do I have?
Yeah.
So we were just doing that with car insurance for mine and your policies.
Yeah.
And it's confusing, right? There's all these different bodily injury, uninsured motorists, gap insurance, blah,
talk
blah,
to
blah.
your agents on all those things. And, but to me, it's like, okay, I mean, like I said, I'm willing to pay a little bit more in coverage because I want to make sure like anything that happens, there's ample coverage there.
Yeah.
For that, so, like I said, the when you start having, millions of dollars of net worth, you need to spend a little bit more on trying to protect this stuff. Like I said, you're not a college student anymore trying to get away with, $50 a month in insurance. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's money well spent.
Yes. Peace of mind too. So, so all those things. So review all your auto, homeowners insurance, your fire insurance, flood insurance, all those things on, I'm sure once a year, most people do health insurance reviews, to make sure that, those are, in play. And, I'm not going to begin to tell you like what to get on that, but okay. And then, other types of insurance, obviously life insurance. We're big proponents of life insurance.
Of course.
And that needs to be something that everyone should review very frequently. It's been my experience that most people are vastly underinsured when it comes to how much they have. There's rules of thumb. There's different calculations. We're not going to bore you guys with all those. But, I think a simple rule of thumb, is like, look at how much income that you make, and take a multiple of that, maybe by 10, 15, to get some kind of an idea. And then from there, you can kind of figure out like what kind of blend of insurance should I have? Should I have more term insurance? Should I have permanent insurance? Again, this gets into talking strategy and all those things. And you guys should be talking with your people about that. But first and foremost, get the proper amount of coverage. I've never seen someone that was upset because they died and they said, oh, geez, there was just too much life insurance here. We didn't need this much. Like no one's ever said that before.
No.
But I can tell you the people that have died prematurely, and we've had a couple of those that didn't have hardly any insurance, and that sucks.
Yeah, no, it's you're insuring your income to your family is what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, kind of similar to that is disability.
Disability being another
one. That's a
one.
huge one.
Yeah, disability, another one, especially for you, for associates or actually anyone. Is if you guys can't do your practitioner work anymore, okay.
Yep.
And I think I probably see maybe one or two people that actually had disability, and it was great for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, it'll save you. It'll save you, and the younger you are, the more important it is because you haven't had time to build up assets.
That's right.
And if you do become permanently disabled, like you could be looking at living another 30, 40, 50 years without being able to make money or makes less money, but yeah, don't skimp on disability.
I mean, most people look at these things as like, oh, another expense that I have. It's like, okay, well, you can look at it that way, but I mean, it is an expense, but it's also something that it's a risk that you're just trying to say, okay, this can happen, and it's cost doing business.
Oh no, I pay long-term disability every month with a smile on my face.
I'm sure you do, Gersch.
I mean, it will cover me until I'm 66 years old, dude.
Oh
That's
God.
30 years.
I mean, geez, Pete's. Thank God you have that.
I mean,
thank God you have that.
Yeah. Be a shame if you backed your truck up and I ended up collecting on that.
I mean, well, I do see you out there quite a bit, like just pausing whenever you see the brake lights on.
It's tempting.
think we know where we're going with that. Other types of insurance, long-term care insurance.
LTC, yeah.
Yeah, that's another one. We're starting to see people, and you can get these right now in your 40s and your 50s.
Yep.
You know,
you need to get it before you're like 60, ideally.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it after 60, but it's not going to be nearly as financially beneficial, I guess.
Yeah, and it's more or less just putting, a lump sum of money or spreading it out over, a 5 or 10 year period. But and then you're done. You don't have to put any more money into it.
You're done for life.
You're done for life, and now you have this policy that will pay for your long-term care, so you don't put a burden on your family, you don't put a burden on anyone else, and you don't have to be in some $5 rest home, with God knows who's taking care of you at that point.
And then people also forget, because people are just like, oh, well, Medicaid will pick it up, which is true eventually. I mean, but first you'll spend through the vast majority of your assets.
Mm-hmm.
So there goes any inheritance or money to a spouse. The spouse gets to keep like $2,000 in the house. But then when you die,
they come after you.
They get to claw back whatever money that you didn't, or whatever money they basically covered you on. They get to claw that back out of the spouse's house at death, further depleting the estate. So
yeah,
Medicaid gets paid back before your family gets any inheritance. So
yeah. I mean, all these things that we're talking about, are going to cost some money, but it's not like it's all the time, every single year. You have to pay these huge expenses out.
Yeah, and there's also other things for long-term care. I mean, there's Medicaid protection trusts that you can set up, move assets inside, as long as they're in there for 5 years before any Medicaid claim, they can't claw it back out.
Mm-hmm.
But, even that, sure, it might protect your assets, but you're still looking at going to a Medicaid place. And most of our clients don't want to do that, even if it saves them money.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, look, we're trying to get you guys to have the mindset that your net worth needs to be in the $5+ million range. Okay. And even if, you do have to dig in for expenses, you should have the means and the income to pay for it. But, if we have the means to insure this, so it doesn't have to be a burden on your family or eat into your estate, I think that is beneficial. It's a good use of money to do that. So we're big believers in it, and we like to sell it, and more people need it. So just make sure you guys have all your insurances covered. We do a full review to make sure all these, we'll show you where the gaps are to fill them up and make sure you don't have them. But insurance is a great way to protect yourself, your assets, and anything that you have. And then I think the last one that we'll use is just like business entities.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we have the other tool that you have at your disposal is, a business entity. Now look, corporations obviously were created to shield liability from the individual shareholders. And that's what corporations are there to do, is to make sure that you shield assets or keep them, the risk in that particular entity and not to your personal assets. So now we're getting into, limited liability corporations or limited partnerships, those types of entities that would protect, would keep the asset segregated, so to speak.
Yes.
From anything else. That's all we're trying to do with, that's why you see people who have real estate, and I'm sure your attorneys, your CPAs have told you this, hey, you got to keep it an LLC. Well, there's a reason for that, because there is, it's more difficult for a judge to force you to liquidate money or pay a judgment from an LLC than maybe some other kind of business entity or partnership or whatever, or sole proprietorship or whatever it would be. So again, you're going to need to talk with your attorneys about a lot of this, and your formation of your entities and such. But just know, this is a tool, and you can use these entities, and I would even say certain types of trusts as well, like irrevocable trusts offer asset protection, not revocable. irrevocable trusts offer asset protection because technically you're giving an asset away to the trust and you technically don't own it anymore. That's how some of these billionaires shield money.
They do, but you have to also remember with an irrevocable trust, once you put it in there, it's never coming out.
No, it's never coming out, but you can get the benefit from it. You can get paid income from it.
There's ways to use irrevocable trusts to protect your primary residence. To protect against estate taxes. I mean, there's a bunch of things irrevocable trusts can be used for.
Yeah. And again, you're going to need to consult with an attorney on some of these things, but business entities and certain types of trust by and large have been another tool that people use to protect their assets. Okay. Now, not all these things are going to cost you, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably do a lot of this stuff for under $5,000. If you want to get a little bit more extravagant, maybe $5,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 to get some of this stuff set up, at least on the business entity and the trust side. And okay, but when you start seeing your net worth creep up to, I just heard one client go from $5 million to a $13 million net worth in 5 years.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, I mean, that's $13 million. Like, I want to make sure I'm protecting some of this stuff,
Yeah.
So that is the other, I think, principle that we want to make sure we get across. And most importantly, do all this while the financial seas are calm.
Yes. You cannot, I'll say it again, you cannot do asset protection once something happens.
Well, you can try.
Well, you can try, but it's just going to get reversed.
Yeah, you can try.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult for you to have to go in front of a judge and say, why did you move all these assets into LLCs and irrevocable trust after you got sued? They're probably not going to look at that too favorably.
No, and it can be unwound if they find that you did it, which is pretty obvious you did.
Yep.
It can just be unwound like it had never occurred. And now you're getting to the same ending after spending all the money to get the asset protection set up. So do it before anything happens or you're SOL.
Yeah. I mean, it's problematic. That's why we're saying, like, nobody wants to prepare for this and spend the cost of something that hasn't happened. But the moment that lawsuit occurs and you're like, oh, thank God we already did all this.
Yep.
It'll just make you feel that much better to have it all done.
Yep.
So I think those are some of the basics. So obviously do this stuff now. Don't wait, get it done. You don't have to spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on asset protection at all. Okay. Know your state laws, know the use insurance coverage, and then business entities and trust formations to help, kind of clean up and protect your other assets as well. And I think I'm forgetting one, but
no, you're not.
I'm not really. Okay.
No.
And I think that's the simplicity of asset
gist
protection.
of it.
Yeah. So, okay, good.
All right.
We'll see you on the next podcast, guys.